everybody. Welcome to another Mortgage Coach in Sales Boomerang webinar. We are super pumped about who our guest is today and what the topic is. We want to just give you guys a second to get the room filled out and let all the people roll in. If you could, in chat, just because we want to make sure you know how to use chat, let us know where you're coming live to us from. What city are you in? I am coming live out of Newport Beach, California. Alex, where are you at today?
I'm in Boulder, baby. Already posted it.
Boulder, Colorado.
Yes.
Shawn, our special guest of the day, where are you coming live?
Nashville, Tennessee, baby.
There we go.
Right on. I'm going to be there this Saturday. I'm actually speaking at an event on Monday, I believe, but I'm gonna come over the weekend. So we got Yuma, Arizona. We got Portland, Oregon, Miami, Daytona, Miami Beach, Dallas, Cleveland, Chicago. Guys, we got the whole country. I don't see anybody from Maine yet, and I haven't seen anybody from Hawaii yet. But I'm sure we have people from all of those locations. So guys, this is the topic. Alex and I are going to be the co-host and the moderators of today's show. But guys, this is the topic. It's the wow factor. We are in a market where it's a mindset market and it's a marketing market. The people with the best mindset and the best marketing win. You're going to get key takeaways today on how to build trust with borrowers and realtors. We're going to get into success formulas, how to build your network, thoughts on the industry in general, inspirational real life stories. So as I said, Alex and I are the two co-hosts of this event. Shawn Kaplan is the top producer that we're going to showcase today. So Alex, anything you want to say to set the table before we bring on Shawn and rock this thing out?
Well, I love the subtitle of this, right? Secrets to building trust with borrowers. I think that's so important for people to see that line and understand what that means. We were talking before we went live here about how, you know, Shawn is now a data-driven therapist with his borrowers. And it's like, what does that mean? How does that turn into trust? And so I just think everyone should be paying attention to that concept of it in what Shawn is about to share, because I think it's brilliant.
Wow.
So Shawn, this is actually the first time I've interviewed you on a public forum like this. I've been working hard for years to bring you into the Mortgage Coach community and the Sales Boomerang community, but you're here now. And you're using Mortgage Coach and you're creating trust like there's no tomorrow. But tell everybody a little bit about your story, you know, the market you're in, the team that you have, the production that you did last year and this year. And then we'll get into the topics at hand.
All right. Well, Dave, I'm honored to be here. I've always looked up to you. And yeah, I'm a slow adopter. I think I first met you 15 years ago. And you were just one of those guys that stood out, you know, as an innovator and, you know, that were a forward thinker. The reason why I'm a slow adopter is, you know, I, like a lot of people, take a little while to trust someone. And I'm also, number two, I'm extremely gritty. I like to do things cheap and affordable because that's the way I was raised. I'll bullet point, you know, my story and not go through the whole thing. But at a young age, I tell a lot of my clients this. At 6 years old, I lost my father. I'm a very authentic person. I figured authenticity frees other people. I also think, you know, logic helps people not make emotional decisions. And so when I was 6 years old, we got the call that my father took his own life. And so I was raised by a single mom. We moved from New York. We ended up going up to Vermont to stay with my extended family. And so the reason why I'm gritty and creative is because when you grow up with not a lot of money, I've worn used clothes, I've slept in the back of cars, I've, you know, tasted kerosene because I had to, you know, siphon it. But you just learn to use the resources that you've got in front of you. So one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my mortgage career, and you can quote me on this, is the fact that I didn't adopt Mortgage Coach faster and sooner. So my journey over the last 20 years looked like 10 years. Fast forward, won't bore you with all the details, but I was waiting tables, met a mortgage man and had $146,000 in credit card debt. And he showed me how to buy my first property, buy more properties, move out of them, turn them into rentals like we're doing with some of our mortgage coaches. And I saw the opportunity and I said, well, I'm just going to rinse and repeat and do it bigger than everybody else. And so I was very fortunate to pay off that debt under his tutelage, $146,000. And at the age of 39, I became my first cash millionaire. And I tell people that just because I'm not to brag, but because like, if this dumb Vermont farm boy can do it, you guys can do it too. But people need the logic. So last 10 years, the journey has been, I was taught how to be my current mentor teaches me how to be a value-based driven guy, talk a lot about wealth, talk about a lot about money. And that worked well for me because I said, if I'm willing to do things 3 times, if everybody else does it twice, or I'll make things 10% better and do it longer than everybody else, why would I not want to add in things that make me look like a rock star on top of that? So my biggest mistake by not adopting Mortgage Coach is it automatically builds so much credibility and separates you from the competition, kind of like social, because there's just a massive amount of people that are not going to do it and invest in it. So in 2010, I think I closed like 200 plus units. I was not making a lot of money. I do talk about the money because let's be honest, we go to work to make money, but I was doing loans extremely cheap and working 80 hours a week. And I almost lost my wife, who was my fiance at that time. And she said, something's got to change. So that's when I flipped and I said, I got to start providing value. I got to start talking about, I'm going to get people in debt, but I'll get you out of debt. I'm going to talk about how do you accumulate wealth? How do you help money escalate to that next level? What does leverage and compound interest mean? The things mortgage people don't talk to folks about. And I found like, wow, this like makes me different. Then I started calling on financial planners. And that was my big jam back in 2010 through 2015 was people other than realtors. I was like, I'm going to go out and meet these lawyers and financial planners and business owners. And I'm going to call on whales, like really wealthy people. And I just took lots of notes. And then I started seeing what those people did. And I said, how do I start doing that in my loan presentations? And just from that point, it started exploding my business. I went from doing 40 million to, over about 125 million last year. I've helped about 10,000 clients. I've been very, very fortunate. I mean, all that good stuff. But when I started adopting that process, that's when my results exploded. So I would encourage every loan officer out there not to only be on Mortgage Coach, but you've got to start talking about the money, focusing on the wealth, how to get, and that's what I love about you guys. So that's a little bit of my journey.
Your story is inspirational. And I just had Jeremy Forcier on the Tuesday interview, and I talked about like, what do you need to do to win this market? And he goes, this is a math market. It's all about mindset and activity, and math makes all things honest, whether that's how many calls you're making, whether that's how you're presenting data to consumers. So I love your story. Alex, anything you want to comment on the story before we get into the tactics?
Yeah, first of all, I think, and I've commented in chat, but just once again, for those that are just listening and maybe not looking into chat, which I encourage all of you to get in there, that vulnerability that Shawn just shared, remember, under the wow factor, the subtitle trust, vulnerability builds trust. And how can I trust you enough for you to do my loan if I don't know anything about you, if I don't know what your intentions are, I don't know where you came from. Now I know where Shawn came from. And I know that if he's going to tell me something, that he's going to tell me something that's truly going to help me, because he's had to siphon gas before. So he knows I know he's not going to put me in a bad position on purpose, because that's PTSD for him. He's no way going to do that to another human being. And my whole point here, guys, is vulnerability. Don't just talk business with your customers. Be vulnerable, open up, share your story. Anyway, so I think that's just a very important part of not just for this market, this works for any market, right? It's just so important now that you embody that more than ever.
I really want to sit on that, Dave, if you don't mind, just for 1 second and add something. Our good friend, Renee Rodriguez, has been a game changer in my business, because what Renee taught me was your story can be a part of your business without making it weird. Right. So I think a lot of us are dealing with this right now. So authenticity, transparency, I'm struggling right now, averaging 32 deals a month, and I'm trying to get 10 right now. So I know how hard it is out there, but use the secret weapons you've got. And that's why when I got social, I was like, all right, I'm not afraid of the camera. I'll do it. I'll look stupid, but I'm going to share things about my life beyond money. We got a lot of mortgage lenders that what they do is they come to the table with our realtors and our clients, and they see the suit, they see the highlight reel, they see the car, they see that we killed it the last couple of years, and they're like, I can't relate to that guy. So Renee has taught me that you step to the table with not look how much money I make or look what I do for a living. And I know we don't all do that, but step to the table with, hey, I'm glad you asked me what I do. You know, let me tell you a story about how, you know, I grew up with a single mom and got $146,000 in debt. And so the reason why credibility is so important to me is people would step into our lives and they'd be like, you know, they liked my mom and I'd be like, oh, you're going to be my dad. And then they were gone 2 weeks later. And then later in life, I realized as you start making money and doing well, there's people who want something from you or people that need something from you. And Mortgage Coach has been a great tool to really figure out who wants something from me and who needs something from me.
Oh, I love that.
I love this, guy. So we just put down, and if you haven't got your pen and paper out and written down vulnerability, when it comes to wowing and winning trust with borrowers and realtors, and we're in an era where distrust is the default. According to the Edelman Trust Barometer, for the first time in the history in America, this is the barometer in measuring trust in the world, but for the first time, distrust is beating trust. So guys, while we have an affordability crisis in America, and Jeremy, in the interview I just did, said the two biggest issues and challenges realtors have right now is qualifications, like rates have gone up so much that people don't qualify for what they want, and affordability. So if we're gonna solve those problems, we need and be valuable, we need to solve those problems. And vulnerability is one of the formulas. So Shawn, thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Let's get into some borrower stories or some realtor stories and strategies. Like, how are you, and wherever you want to go first, you know, whatever story you want to share first, tell us how you're winning in this market. Tell us how you're building trust in this market, and start with a story.
So the story would probably be, I remember one night I had an investor out of California, and this was probably about 12 years ago. And he was with this thing called the Marshall Reddick Network. So all the old timers might have heard of that, but they'd go out to California and they'd sell Tennessee properties and people would buy 10, 20, 30 at a time. Well, the reason why I tell you this story was I had a guy that bought 31 properties and I liked working with investors. As I started talking more about money, I was attracting these investors, and I attracted that guy who went out there and he said, I want you to be the lender because you understand investments, investment properties. You understand what these business owners are looking at. Well, the reason why I share this story was I wish I would have had a mortgage coach then, because the reason why my fiance at the time was going to leave me was because I stayed at the office till 1 a.m. doing these crappy loan comparison estimates for 31 properties. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And sure enough, my wife said, there's going to be a better way. And that's why I started that journey of saying, hey, how do I show people the ROI? How do I show them the value of leverage and not putting all that money down? Because in 2010, we had people coming back to us. It was heartbreaking with half equity in their property, but no cash. And I was like, do they not realize that that payment's not much lower and they could have invested the difference? So how I got to a $5 million cash net worth was simple. I bought a house, moved out of it every year, rented it out, bought a new one, cashed out, refied, or did a HELOC, and invested the difference when I sold the property. And I put it in the S&P index for 12 years straight, every single month. And that's what helped him pay off the debt. So I want to share the story with you about, first of all, the probably go to the $60 million team. That's a great example.
What's their name? What's the team?
That's the Kirby Group. So good shout out to my good friend, Laura Kirby. And so they had seen some of my social, and I like to put mortgage coach links up there, or I'll tell people in my stories to say, hey, drop the word, plan. If you want to know what it looks like, a 2-to-1 buy down. And so they had seen some of that, and they literally said, hey, do you want to come over? Can we come over to your office and, give a present, have you give us a presentation on this, mortgage coach that you're giving everybody. So we were able to host that meeting. I can share that screen if you would like. And,
I'd love to see how you're doing that. Okay.
So right here on the screen, this is our office, by the way. I'm very proud of our office. I was in cubicles and, back offices and sewage coming through the wall in some offices. And I was like, man, when I build this place out, I want it to be inspiring. I want it to be open. I want it to be collaborative. So we put in a cafe, we put in a moss wall and a sofa area, a record player, video shooting area. And it's just really, really cool. So what's happened is realtors like the Kirby Group have said, whoa, I've already seen your office online. I see the mortgage coach technology, like nobody does that stuff. Can we come have a meeting at your office? So that was the first one. We've hosted multiple realtor meetings. We actually have one here tomorrow for a $40 million team that wants to do the same thing. So I'm having a lot of success with that. And I'll go to how our meetings kind of happen and that Kirby group meeting, which is right here. Okay, so the Kirby group came over and they wanted us to know, how do we sell some of our luxury properties that we know are going to slow down a little bit because affordability and qualifications are affecting people. So I'll flip over to the mortgage coach, the exact one that I actually showed them while we were, you know, you need to tell everybody, Dave, you're making me drive this thing too, right?
Visiting my total cost now.
All right. Just give me 1 second.
Pull up that TCA.
Boom, boom, boom.
There you want to see it.
Before you show it, just 1 second. I know you're going to jump right into it. So Shawn, 1 second. I've just posted this in chat. Again, for those that are just listening and not watching, the first takeaway from here is that Shawn is having a strategic call with his partners, a strategic conversation, but there's something even more important about this. His partners trust him enough to have a strategic conversation with him, to go, hey, all the chips are on the table. We know we're not going to be able to sell these luxury properties. What do you recommend? Like,
yes.
That can you right now in the audience say, and put it in chat, yes or no, thumbs down, doesn't matter. Can you say right now that your partners are reaching out to you for these strategic conversations? That's a key. That's a key. So go ahead. There you go. Thank you for being honest, everyone. Thank you.
No, that's a great point, Alex, because like I'm passionate about the people that are going to make it through this little, ripple in the water here. But like, I've been told over and over and over, like they're calling, asking me for a cup of coffee. I can buy my own damn cup of coffee. I don't want to have lunch with a stranger. And nobody's like, tell me what your struggle is. Tell me what, I could do, or tell me if you're doing a 2-to-1 buy down. Do you understand how it works? Do you want to jump on a Zoom call and I'll show you? Hey, why don't you bring your team over here? And that's super important, Alex, that you bring up that point, because they're clogging up the airwaves.
Yes.
And I'm telling everybody on this call, if you're watching this and you're doing that, there's hope for you. You just got to start thinking about them. Like, and you got to say your paycheck, I'm in charge of that. And it's very important that I figure out how to remove every obstacle I can with these objections. So one question I'll ask realtors when I cold call them, or I'm just, warm calling them, I'll say, hey, is it accurate that your two biggest objections are affordability because interest rates went up, and I think the market's going to crash? And every time they're like, yeah, be like, hey, are you willing to have a conversation? I think I can show you 3 to 5 things that'll help you with those challenges.
Good. I hope everyone wrote that down. Please, everyone, write that down. Like that is those are the conversations that when Shawn gets in front of that person, they already know he's different than the rest of the people they've spoken to recently. They already know that. And so just take that. I don't want to stop your flow. You're crushing it. I just wanted to make that point because I think we could get right into the TCA, but the fact that your partners should allow you to share the strategy together, that if you're not getting there, you got to get there first.
Yes, absolutely. And the TCA is the candle and the icing on the cake. I mean, once you bring that thing in, it's like, bam, it's lights out. Nobody's doing that for you. So in this particular situation, this was a property where a family member had lost someone, and it's in a more affluent area here in the area. I don't do a lot of jumbo loans, but this team, they do, and they want things boiled down to where people in the jumbo market, they're more money-based and more logic-based. And she's like, I need something to put in front of them so they can just understand it. So I just did a simple 20% down, and a 15% down loan. But the main thing is they said, people want to buy the property, but they don't want to put 20% down every time. And I get that. I would borrow $5 million if I could put 10%, 5%, or 0% down, because that's leverage. So I wanted to show them the difference is just a simple calculation of $400 difference, in the payment. And so this is just a simple TCA. And this is what I showed them. It's not exotic. It wasn't like some sort of, brainchild that confused them. That's the other thing I will say. You can really overwhelm people with this. And what I'm finding, my secret to success is keeping it basic at first, because the TCA and mortgage coach speaks for itself. It already looks good. It already looks professional. You don't need to put a bunch of 5 different comparisons in there. I'm finding keep it simple. But one piece of advice I will give you is we just professionally recorded all of our videos. So just like I'm doing on my reels and my Instagram, and I'll drop my Instagram handle down there and you guys can see some of those, is that I am professionally recording each video where I got good lighting, good microphone, because if you're going to do it really, really well. Does that help, Dave?
That was awesome, brothers. So stop sharing your screen real quick.
Okay.
I want you guys to write down, keep it simple. You've got to deliver value in this market. You got to keep it simple, and you have to wow in the real world. And here's something that I want to share with everyone. I listened to the interview between Joe Rogan and Mark Zuckerberg a few weeks ago. And Zuck said something that really caught me. He's like, prior to COVID, the real world was in person. Like most of the people on this call, you're local, referral-based professionals. And the real world pre-COVID used to mean like the physical world is in person, because the real world has evolved. And today, after COVID, everybody loves Zoom. Grandma loves Zoom. The real world is a combination of the physical world and the digital world. So I just want you guys to really unpack what Shawn is doing here. He is wowing in the real world. He connects with people in a transparent, authentic, vulnerable way. He is wowing in the digital world. He's showing up curious. By the way, curiosity has never been more important than it is in today's market. Just shoving rent versus own, own versus rent. Don't worry about the 7%. Like, guys, we got to show up with humility and curiosity. Like, let's just put the numbers together and see what makes sense. And let's wow digitally. Guys, the new real world is a hybrid experience of what you do physically in person in the markets that you serve and how that integrates with what you do digitally. So these are all photos of the real world. Consumers meeting with loan officers. Some of that's in person. That picture on the left is a first-time home buyer, self-educating in a Pete's coffee shop. Should I buy? Should I rent? And guys, the story that he just told you, this Kirby team story, super powerful. This is a great case study from an interview I did a couple weeks ago. Brand new loan officer, 10th month in the business, did $1 million in production, like on his 9th month in the business. And this was a lead from a realtor. And the realtor said, or the buyer said, I'm scared. I'm going to wait a year. Now, this loan officer didn't start rent shaming. He just said, hey, let's put the numbers together. And what he found out is that, hey, you could buy a 3-bedroom house and you could rent out 2 of those bedrooms for $650. And you can do some of the things that Shawn talked about doing. Call this house hacking. I got the term from this new loan officer. And look at this. In 5 years, if you rent out those 2 bedrooms, gave it to a financial planner, look at the net worth. So it was about the numbers. It's about helping people make informed, educated decisions, whether you've been doing this for 10, 20 years, whether this is your first year in the business. I just write it down. Vulnerability, curiosity, and hard work is some of the takeaways. So we're 24 minutes into this. I know you got at least 2 more stories to share that are also strategies. You want to share, Alex, do you want to say anything before he shares the next
2
story?
seconds. Just 2 seconds. I think it's important. We've shared this before. I think it's important to get into it one more time. What Dave just showed you, okay, is the power of eliminating bias. Okay, in sales, mortgage industry being one of the key industries that is impacted by this. The person on the other line believes that what you're offering is best for you, not them. That's what they believe going into the conversation, believe it or not, okay? They think that what you're offering is better for yourself than them. What a digital presentation does, besides what Shawn is going to do vulnerability-wise, and I can see Shawn's camera is going berserk at the moment. It's being taken over by aliens.
Yeah, right. I'll fix it.
Yeah. So besides building that trust through vulnerability, which is key, You start to build trust when you can show a consumer that what you're offering them isn't about what's best for the bank, the lender, but honestly, clearly, it's what's best for them. As you could see in the presentation that Dave just showed, and you're going to see a few more of them with Shawn, we've all been taught, right? Green, positive. Red, not so positive. And when you have that presentation, you no longer have to say, I think the best direction is blank. You don't have to say that anymore. Because the minute they say, I think, they start to think, well, what's in it for you? When you start to say, look at what's best for you, do you see the value in this? It's a very different conversation, and you're no longer selling, you're serving. You're serving up options. You're stepping back. You're allowing the data to dictate the conversation rather than your own opinions, which then can be triggered as a bias. Oh my goodness, he's saying this because he's going to win. Nope. I'm only offering because you are going to win. And so I think it's very important to understand the power of a presentation that's backed up by data is that you no longer have to be the person making the advice. It is the data giving the advice. So I just want to make sure you guys understand the power of that.
Yes, I'm gonna tag on to what Alex said, because that is money right there. So when COVID happened, this is what I was raised old school. My first mentor said, here's the list of documents client needs. You do two things. You schedule the appointment and you send them a list and tell them to come into the office. And he said, because people want value, they will come across town. They want to sit down. Face-to-face visual is super important. They get to see your office, but what he taught me was when you don't, and you just go to the phone or email, you're going to be a commodity. And he goes, plus people won't drive across. They're a lot likely to drive across town and then call 2 or 3 other lenders after putting forth that work. So it was filtering out who wanted to be in my life or found value from me really early. Well, when COVID hit, I freaked out because I was like, I closed 350 units last year, before COVID. I'm like, what do I do? How am I going to meet people on Zoom? I've never done this before. So the Band-Aid got ripped off and I had to go cold turkey straight to Zoom. Well, the first thing I did was I went ahead and my wife, encouraged me to do this, but I dumped about 50 grand in my home office. I made it look nice behind me. I put in good light. I got everything set up the way I needed that. And when you got on that Zoom call, you were like, whoa. And I was like, what's the best things I can do to build the most trust in this visual element, right? Well, Mortgage Coach does that for all of y'all, because look, we can try. I've tried to get people to come back in the office. People don't want to do it. Not here in Nashville. They don't want to drive 30 minutes to come to an office. So I need everything at my disposal: the look, the camera, the Mortgage Coach, and that's the secret weapon right there. You want me to talk about the #1 team in Nashville?
Absolutely. We love stories. We love strategies that are winning today.
All right, cool. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I was very, very fortunate to meet this guy. His name's, Brandon Knox. He is not only the #1 buyer's agent in Nashville, he's also the #1 listing agent in Nashville. Like, he dominated. Brandon's a really sharp guy. Came from Texas, moved to New York, then moved to Tennessee. In the late 2000s, he said, well, if I can get to the dirt before the builders can, then I'll buy the dirt. And then I'll tell them that, I want all the listings. Well, then when he did that, he said, well, I should go ahead and partner with the builders on building. And he just grew and grew to this monster at Compass. And I was like, how do I get this guy's attention? Because he likes me. He knows me. He even says you're the best lender out there. But how do I get business from this guy? And about a year ago, we started talking, and he goes, well, I do know the market's going to shift. And what I don't want to do is just reduce prices like everybody else. Well, he was a little bit of a slow adopter. And about 3-4 months ago, he came to me, he goes, look, I'm trying to make a deal, 30,000 off this house, 40,000 off another. I just gave an agent bonus. None of it is working. I said, time out. We need to do a 2-to-1 buy down on your properties. I showed him how much less he was going to be giving away in the mortgage, in the TCA. I said, if you reduce the price, this is what it saves the client. And I'll pull this one up in a moment. But the moral of the story is, he said, this is what I need. I put more money back in his pocket. I made it easier for buyers to come along and just see the logic instead of somebody trying to sell them on something. And I'm his preferred lender on every single listing he has in Nashville. And he's the #1 lender. I'm in the MLS listings and everything. And Mortgage Coach probably helped me seal that deal, because before I wasn't in the MLS listings as the preferred lender on every single property.
Love it. And do you have any total cost analysis that goes along with that?
I do. I'll pull it up. It's going to take me a second to pull it up here because the one that's
Go ahead,
linked.
stop sharing your screen real quick. I'll share a few things and then I'll give it back to you.
Here it is. Let me see. Because the one that's in that report, unfortunately, is the same one for some reason. So let me just show this to y'all. Like my assistant now.
Stop sharing your screen and then reshare once you have the total cost analysis up.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, we see it now.
So
well,
look right there. Look,
we see an email. We see an email.
I know, but you see all these links right here?
Yeah.
So all my employees used to be trained on Encompass. And now the brand new employees, since I got linked up with you full time and went 110% burn the boats, all of our TCAs now get prepared through Mortgage Coach. So he came to me, goes, man, I got these properties I'm going to sell this weekend. We're going to do open houses on all of them. Would you do a mortgage coach for them? And I popped them all out. We put them all together. And this is the actual presentation right here that he shows on all of his properties, his new construction. So what I did was a conventional 5% down. Then I said, well, if you did a 30-year and just permanent buy down, because a lot of people are just asking him for closing costs because they think they can buy the rate down, or maybe the realtor doesn't understand how it works. In the third column, I'm showing them the 2-to-1 buy down. So the 2-to-1 buy down cost them 2%, where most people are coming in with a 3 to 5% price reduction. So automatically on $600,000, I'm putting an additional $10,000 to $20,000 back in his pocket minimum.
So real quick on this, I think if you could on your screen don't stop sharing on your screen. Can you zoom in a little bit to see the screen a little better?
Absolutely.
And this is, guys, what we were talking about just a second ago. I just want to make a point for everyone. I saw some new people joining. This is the importance of having a digital presentation backed up by data instead of just someone's opinion. And so if you scroll down, again, for those of you that have never seen a mortgage coach, have never been engaged with this, you can create these in minutes to get the conversation started. But if you go, just go up a little bit, Shawn, just for a second. I want this to land right here. Stop right here for a second. Remember, as human beings, our brain still wants to learn the way we learned as kids. We want visuals. We want to clearly know which direction is best for us. We don't want to guess. Our brain begins to defend ourselves when we have to guess. And so the brilliance of Mortgage Coach and what Dave and team have done over the years is to eliminate all of the question. And so I say to you right now, everyone on the call, every single one of you, I'm going to give you 1 second to identify which option is better than the other option, just from what you see on screen. And I know you've all figured it out like that. That is the point of a digital presentation. You take the nuance, the misunderstanding, the complexity of this thing we call mortgage, and you make it easy for someone to digest. And what happens, and Shawn can explain this to you, what happens when I am confident, I make decisions faster. I don't kick the can down the road. I'm like, man, this makes so much sense. Okay, because what you've heard so much, okay, and I know you can put this in chat, guys, you hear people say, let me think about it. What are they thinking about? If they don't understand, they're not thinking about anything. They're thinking about calling the next person that will help them understand. That's it. That's all they're thinking about. This eliminates the let me think about it more so. This is my favorite thing. Right now, we need to keep people on a call. Not 5 minutes and see you later. Right now, if they invest 2 hours to drive into my office, see my nice office, spend time with me, they're less likely to go somewhere else. That's what Shawn's mentor taught him so many years ago. Guess what? If you can get them to spend an hour with you on the phone, forget about it. They're not going anywhere. Anywhere. It's the same thing as driving. So this is my point about this. No bias. The numbers are in front of you. Let's talk about where you think your value is in those categories. So,
and it gives my builder leverage too to say, hey, I'll be willing to negotiate a deal with you, but I really think that you're leaving a bunch of money and a bunch of payment on the table. Can you at least just have a phone call with my preferred lender who's been doing this for 20 years? And even if you don't use him, he's going to save you a bunch of money just in the conversation. And then I'll get them on the phone and I'll say, Brandon's one of the best realtors I work with. Whether you use me or not, I just want to point something out. You going in and ask them to take, $20,000 off the price of the home is only going to save you $100 a month. What if I could show you a way to save $772 a month? And they're like, well, how are you going to do that? And I said, well, you're trying to get 10 or 20,000 off the price of the home. 7 times 12, I'm going to end up saving you. I don't know what that is. 10,000 bucks, is it 700 times
a year?
Yeah, per year. And my script, and I'll share it with everybody right now, is the wow is I'll tell people, I'll say, and you know what? You refinance it next year. And this is where people stop. They don't do anything else. I say, we'll refinance it next year. And I'm so confident interest rates are going to drop because Fannie Mae's put it out on CNBC, MSN, Fox News. You can look for the article yourself, but I'm so confident rates are going to drop that I'm waiving all lender fees on your refinance next year. Matter of fact, my systems are so dialed in, you won't have to guess who's going to give you a good deal. You'll be automatically alerted when it's time to refinance this loan. So you save $10,000 in a year instead of going and getting $5,000 off the price of the home. And then you're going to end up getting the home now if it goes up 5%. And so that's how we're showing people the logic.
Two talk tracks for everyone to write down. But did you see the cheering? That was so brilliant. I had to get the cheering of the crowd in there.
That's good.
So that's the next thing to add to your home office or office, right? So 2 things. You heard Shawn. He is giving his agents a talk track. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, I feel like you're leaving a lot of payments still on the table. I think this makes a lot of sense for you to talk to my preferred lender so we can show you, and you get into that. So train your agents to say this, because guess what? It's in your agent's best interest for them to talk to you, because if you get the consumer to understand, they get the home too. So it's in their best interest. So feed your agents this way. The other thing is exactly what Shawn just ended with his last talk track. I'm so confident, look it up. Okay, it's going to happen. I'm so confident that this makes sense. I'm saving you this money per month anyway, but I'm so confident that the rates are going to drop and you're going to refinance even into a better position that I'm waiving all those fees.
Right.
So guys, let me jump in because I want to get at least one more story from Shawn. Shawn, if you can stop sharing your screen real quick.
Yep.
I want to wrap a lesson around this, guys. Like, tune in to what I'm going to say here and what I'm going to show you. And I'm literally going to supersize this for you. Like, I'm going to break down what Shawn's doing, and then I'm going to show you how to take that #1 realtor in the market you're in and get even more value. So we're talking #1 agent in the market that he's serving, and he's wowing them. He's showing data. Like Alex called out, you saw that one TCA, which makes more sense. This is from that house hacking strategy. What makes more sense? You got to make it visual. You got to wow them digitally. And then, guys, this is the goal of every mortgage professional in America. Like, we don't want to be jealous of financial advisors who get paid every year from their database. It's called assets under management. We don't need to be jealous of life insurance who get paid. It's called book of business. Guys, loan officers can get paid on their database every year. It's called mortgages under management. And I'm going to just break this down for you guys. So first of all, not only do you need to have it locked and loaded, and I know Shawn and all the mortgage coaches they have it locked and loaded. Everybody that they're doing a loan for right now, they're showing, hey, here's what your loan is. And when rates come down, I got you. And I'm going to show you how we can automate that for you. But guys, there's a bigger opportunity out there. How would you like to be able to make a case to that #1 agent in your market and adopt their database? Like, hey, realtor, give me your database. I will manage it for you. Guys, this is how you do it. So this is what most realtors' database looks like. And even the top realtors in the markets that you serve, they don't know what's going on in that database. But again, guys, you're on a Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang webinar right now. Our customers know exactly what's going on in that database. We have data that realtors can't get even if they want. We know when someone runs a credit report. And we get an alert. We know when equity goes up. We know when FICO scores go up. We have life events. And so, guys, it is time. Like, be a data-driven, I say mortgage advisor. Alex just called out Shawn as a therapist, data-driven therapist. And then again, you guys can see the shirt that Alex is wearing, be a financial friend. And guys, be a financial friend with benefits. Benefits are this, guys.
Ooh, that's
benefits
good.
Are, you've got this digital presentation, so you're wowing. And then here's the deal. How about making this promise to a realtor? Hey, realtor, you can get paid every year. It's called working with a data-driven mortgage advisor like me, who like, I'm getting these alerts, cash out. Like, Debt is a signal. I know what people's debt are in my database. I know what their FICO score is. I know what their home values are. You notice in the upper right-hand corner, I know how much tappable equity someone has. And guys, you know what tappable equity is? Yes, for mortgage professionals, it's a potential cash out refi, home improvement refi. It's also a potential move up buyer. Mark my words, when rates start, like right now they're going up. It's just a question of when they start going down. And for you to be able to go to that tappable equity, and now you're going to do like, hey, here's a move up analysis, or here's a cash out analysis. Guys, this is one of the superpowers of a mortgage coach, is literally you can put this analysis in front of a consumer saying, hey, should you refinance, or should you do a cash out refi? Guys, this is the superpower you need. Also, when market does start to shift and rates start to go down, we've got a rate watch alert. Not only will that tell you like, hey, there's a loan here, but it's going to automatically create a total cost analysis. Like the machine is going to create a total cost analysis so that you can go from this client's in the money to my digital assistant created a digital wow experience, and boom, guys, that's what we're here for. We want to turn your database into a data bank with mortgages under management. So before Shawn shares another story, guys, put your camera on this. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to put your camera on this. And if you do not have Mortgage Coach or you do not have Sales Boomerang, and even if you do, you need to make sure you're optimizing it for this market. But put your camera on that and schedule a demo with us. If you work for a company, make sure your manager knows what Mortgage Coach can do and how we can drive all those superpowers. So, because guys, not only do we deliver value when it's a refi market, and it will be again, but we deliver value in this market. So make sure you guys do that. We'll also put a link in chat. So, Shawn, I mean, we could end now. Like we're 43 minutes into this, and I think everybody's got a lot of value. But I also know you have more stories to share. So tell us another story, teach us another strategy, and then guys, put your questions in chat. We'll make sure we get to your questions.
Okay, so I'll share a story with you, but leading up to it, I'm going to give you some real good nuggets because I'm a simple guy. Like, look, here's the thing about the TCAs. Sometimes they're just too much for me. That's why I keep mine super basic and let them speak for themselves. But the thing I want to let you know is right now we should be working for free more than we've ever worked. Work for free more than you've ever worked. Here's an example, like preparing your listing, looking right now what's coming up this weekend, prepare 3 TCAs, print them out, put them in a plexiglass holder and show up at that open house and say, I just made something for you. Can I leave this on the counter? Pull out your phone and scan it. So right here, you will see an example on the screen of one that we did. This is one of my good realtors. We had the buyer under contract. On Friday, she calls me. She says her contract on her current home fell out. She goes, what do you have up your sleeve? I said, let me do a 2-to-1 buy down. Will your seller pay 2%? She goes, yes. My assistant knocked this out in a couple of hours. We took this to the listing, put it on the plexiglass holder. And then on Monday, Sunday, actually, I got the phone call that it went under contract. Monday, we were back in escrow. It saved my buyer deal. And I got the buyer for the listing. I double-sided it. So we've got to work for free more than we've ever worked. Like my builder, I mean, I prepare probably 50 of those TCAs and maybe close 3 or 4 or 5 deals, but we've got to be working and giving them value. The second thing is other than showing up, with this and maybe giving it to your listing agents or builders, is there's an MLS strategy. Can I share this real quick? It's a really good tactic, Dave.
Are you kidding? Share anything you want, man.
MLS strategy. So the MLS strategy is this. So go to your realtors right now and say, can you pull all of your original listings through MLS for all of your buyers that you've closed in the last 3 years, right? If you find one realtor, have them print out the 10 or 12 or 20 closings they've had over the last 2 years or 3 years. You're going to have it on the desk. You're going to take the tax records, which will show what the loan amount was with the exception of a few. And you're going to take what they bought it for and subtract it so you know what the down payment is. You ask the realtor to give an approximate idea of what that house is worth now. You take the down payment, divide it by the approximate value, and it's going to give you the ROI. Take a little yellow stick-it note, throw that thing down on the piece of paper, write a handwritten note and say, hey, Dave, just wanted to stop by and drop this off. Did you know that your investment of $15,000 is giving you a 220% return on investment? I'm going to follow up with a link. I want you to see how we could do that again. Matter of fact, I'm going to go with my realtors. I'm going to spend a couple of Saturdays sitting in a car for 2 or 3 hours. I'm going to force feed them to go do that. A couple of my top realtors, and I get to spend 2 or 3 hours with them while at the same time giving them a tactic that nobody else has taught them. So that's what I got for you on that one.
Gold. More gold.
So, yeah, I would just say that that's where you're going to come in and be the financial friend with benefits to your realtor too. You know, this is the mortgage coach presentation that we did for that property. It was Plumley, I believe. Yeah, Plumley Drive. Can y'all see that right there?
Yep.
So we just showed a conventional, a FHA, you know, and then I showed with 20% down. But here's the thing. People won't even get to this step. They don't even know. They just say, oh, rates are 7%. So I'm way out of the ballpark, right? Well, if you just put the black and white in there, that initiates the phone call. The QR code initiates that shows that somebody viewed it. And then you got a chance to get them on the phone, like Alex said, and have the conversation, say, hey, whether you buy this house or not, I just want to give you some free advice. Are you open to that? You know, hey, here's an opportunity and here's some threats, I think, by waiting. And I just show this to them.
Love this. So stop sharing your screen real quick. I want to, guys, we're here to give value. Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach, we are dedicated to your success. We want to bring you value. So we're always searching out the best success stories of the market. Shawn, it is just such a gift to have you as a leader in our community. I want to make sure you guys clicked on this. So pull up your camera. Like literally, this will work. Now we are going to give you links. If you're watching this in our YouTube channel, there'll be a link down below. But guys, I'm always interviewing top producers. I interviewed Shawn Guerrero a few weeks ago. Put your camera on this one. You know, he's actually, you know, putting a QR code in the actual total cost analysis, and he's using it. I interviewed Amber Kovar. It actually went live on our YouTube channel today. Notice she's using a QR code. And you know where that QR code's going? It's going to a total cost analysis with a video on it. So it's going from wow in person at an open house, leveraging technology to make it easy for the consumer to get the wow digitally. And then top producers in this market, they're delivering strategies. You know, they're making sure that they're showing things graphically, graphs, the charts. They're making it simple. Kelly Zitlow, who's head of the God, what's it called? But it's Keller Williams Mortgage, and she is delivering the Mortgage Coach open house experiences. Open house experiences are up, where you've got loan officer's logo, you've got the realtor's logo, you've got a home, it's digital, you've got options, and you're using QR codes. So another thing I want to get everybody in this community on is I'm interviewing top producers multiple times a week. One, I have this text club. It's called my mobile club. It's 949-799-0837. At least once a week, I am forwarding either what I think is the best interview that I did or the clips. You know, here at the Innovation Lab, we are taking some of the best content. And I can tell you right now, from this call, there's going to be about 3 different little clips where it's just pure gold, and we'll share that with you. So Shawn, we got time for, I think you've got another story and strategy to share. But we are in the last 10 minutes. I want to see if you got any other stories or strategies to share or any key concepts you want to make sure everybody gets.
Well, I think, you know, I'm a coach at heart. That's what I really enjoy doing. You know, when I lost my dad, you know, young, I found that the best thing to do was to go to other men. I had 9 uncles and aunts. So I would go to them and I'd be like, hey, I didn't want to learn how to play baseball. Show me. So I never wanted to be a teacher or anything, but later in life, I found out, wow, I have a passion for coaching because I see people held back by other people not given for free, helping them, especially in our industry. And that's what I like so much about you, Dave. So I do coach at our company. I coach about 12 of our loan officers, and I have loan officers here. And the homework I signed a couple of weeks ago was to prepare 3 TCAs per weekend. Open houses are mandatory, 3 different agents, go and deliver them, show up. You're going to have something of value, start the conversation, then go on to the next one. After a while, don't wear out your welcome. Well, I have 2 guys that literally were not in the industry, say 2 years maximum, but about a little over a year. And they're closing 5 deals a month. I mean, they're almost at $10 million in their first year in mortgages because of that homework assignment that I'm giving people. Because once again, lenders are calling. Can I buy you a coffee? Do you want to have lunch with a stranger? And they're blocking you out. Instead, you're saying, hey, like, have a good hook around it. Hey, if I could show your buyers how to save, between $600 and $800 a month, get a payment similar to March and April of last year, would that interest you? When are you going to be at the open house? I'd like to stop by and show you. Like, come with a good hook, some good bait. Okay.
Wow, I love that. So here's my closing thought, and then I'm going to let Alex close it out. If you do have questions, put them in chat. We'll make sure we get them all answered. But guys, here's the deal. You want to get loans now, and you want to get loans in the future. You need to be a data-driven mortgage advisor, therapist, financial friend. And here's the formula everybody should be focused on. How can I turn every 1,000 mortgages under management? Those are people that love you, trust you, you've delivered great service for, and they're getting annual reviews. You're monitoring their database with Sales Boomerang. You're actually making the calls between 8 and 9 when you get that alert. And guys, if you do this right, for every 1,000 mortgages under management, it could be 100 loans annually. And by the way, maybe in this market, it's 80 loans annually. And it really is as simple as these 3 metrics. MUM, how many mortgages do I have under management? How many insights am I getting? Some people in the industry call them trigger alerts. Guys, we've gone beyond trigger alerts here at Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach. Like, we call them strategies. We're turning insights into strategies that generate apps, that generate closed loans, and that help you crush it. So literally, you're getting these insights in the market. Oh, there's enough equity to move up. Oh, this person's cheating on me and they just ran a credit report. Oh, this person has X equity, and we're driving that. So like, part of our sales process, tell your managers, if you want to know, like, tell us how many records you have under management. We'll tell you exactly how many alerts and insights you can be getting, and we'll show you how to turn those into apps and how to turn those into loans. So Alex, I know you probably have some things to share. I'm going to put this up one more time for everyone. Go ahead, put your camera up. Forward this to your management team. Make sure you guys sign up. We want to deliver. Hopefully we've delivered incredible, overwhelming value. And hopefully the best way we can deliver value is to go through our sales process and actually become a mortgage coach, Sales Boomerang powered mortgage professional. Alex, what are some of your closing thoughts, brother?
If I could grab the screen for 2 seconds and just share something, and then I will actually want to share this with Shawn too, or actually run something by Shawn. So look, guys, when Dave said we've moved beyond triggers, mortgage inquiries, we've moved far beyond them. What you're looking at is an understanding of what a borrower intelligence platform really is, okay? Most everyone, if you follow that gray line that says non-differentiating data, that's how almost everyone in the industry looks at borrowers and the people in their database customer base. They treat them all the same all the time. And so what happens is, right, I see Shawn shaking his head. What happens is, towards the top, you're like, yay, we're converting. Then it's like, why is this getting harder? I gotta spend a little. And then as you move, since you have not different, you're treating it all the same, at the bottom of that, you've spent 3 times as much and put in 3 times as much effort to probably not even convert a deal. So when we talk about borrower intelligence and that you need to be a data-driven lender, we're looking to give you that slither of borrowers that are ready to buy now, ready to do a refi now. It's little, it's a tiny slither, but that is what we're the best in the world at identifying. Who are they? But then there's a little bit more. There's another group of people you're talking to that really want to, but aren't quite ready to make the decision yet. That's the next section there. That's in the light blue. And here's the thing. The rest, it's going to hurt you, because if you're in sales, and you're going to be like, I can't do that, Alex. But I promise you can. Forget about the rest. Not in a I don't care about you manner, but rather I'm ready to give you all of my resources and energy when I know you can move forward. And so allow a borrower intelligence platform to point to who you should be talking to, what the TCA should say, why, and all those things, who's next, who's closest behind this group, and how to eliminate wasting your time altogether. Guys, I'll leave you with this, and then Shawn, I got big thanks for you. I'll leave you with this. When you're using a borrower intelligence platform, the cost of acquisition from using a system like this to identify your borrowers that can use you right now, historically, we've been sub $400 to acquire a customer to become a client for you. That is industry, like top shelf. There's nothing better besides getting a referral, and it's costing you that, right? But you should be building relationships. So just know, when you have this type of system dialed in, the cost goes down so much. And now my final word, Shawn, your story inspired me, brought me nearly to tears because I know where you are today in this world. And what also inspired me is the level of vulnerability you bring to this. And so I'm just so impressed by the way you've handled this conversation, the way you've coached everyone on this call, but the way you've coached me on this call. I've picked up things. I've made notes for myself that I'm going to share with my team and the people I get to meet. So just want to thank you for your time and the brilliance that you share today.
Thank you. That
Hey,
really,
real
really
quick,
means a lot.
before we wrap this up, Alex, could you stop sharing your screen? Because I
Yeah.
want to make sure people really cop what you said, because I care about local referral-based loan officers, and it's important. Like we're in a pivot. Like, you know, when we look back at this market in 2027, there's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And the little lesson that Alex just went through, I want to just go through it in 1 minute, and then Shawn, be ready to close this strong as a coach. Okay, so get your coaching hat on. But what Alex walked you guys through, this is how the biggest tech companies in the world think. Like, it's all about profitability and probability. You know, big data, big tech companies are thinking like this. Consumer packaged goods companies are thinking like this.
Definitely.
And when they look at data, like the mortgage industry, in most of your databases, guy, it's non-differentiated. Alex showed you this, and he said this, but I want you just to get this, because if you can't execute on this, guys, there's a lot of lenders that are going to be executing on this because they're working with us. It's about differentiating that data. And guys, this is what differentiating the data looks like, is that you're not only getting the insights, but you're knowing which one do, hey, I as a human being, like Shawn, you're a busy dude, right? Like every alert in your database is not equal. And right now, like if you're just using trigger alerts and you're just tracking this, it's giving you every alert like it's exactly the same. And let's face it, they're not. Like your human capital only has so much time. Some of those should come directly to you, and it should be 911 and you call at 8 in the morning. And some of those guys should be automated. They should be automated with your CRM, and it should drive a campaign. And like Alex showed on that chart, and some of those should just be nurtured. It should just be like updated in your CRM. So I know Alex went through this. I just wanted to breadcrumb you guys through this, because this is where the industry is going. And people like Shawn that are amazing human beings, that are curious, they're vulnerable, they're hardworking, and they're leveraging technology. But wow in person and wow digitally, the future is yours. So Shawn, we got a minute to close. Coach us up. Closing thoughts, brother.
Well, in typical fashion, I'm going to speak from my heart. And I'll tell you right now, I want to speak to my loan officers out there, even if it's one person that is watching this. You know, there's a lot of people in a deep, dark place right now. I'm equipped for this. I know the impact of, you know, people having mental illness and suicide. And I'm not saying that's what maybe people are thinking about, but I know there's a lot of people that are not sharing that. You know, Michael Jordan says, I put it in the thing, authenticity is about being true to who you are, even when everyone around you wants to be somebody else. Profits and all that is great. Dave hit the nail on the head. But what I want to do is I want to focus on the profits, but only because I'm bringing so much value to the table and run a good business. And for me, it's about changing lives. Brene Brown says, if you think dealing with issues like worthiness and authenticity and vulnerability are not worthwhile because there are more pressing issues like the bottom line or attendance or standardized scores, you are sadly, sadly mistaken. It underpins everything, most of all, authenticity. And so I will just encourage people. I know we use that word a lot, but you can use Mortgage Coach to feel like you are bringing value, you're being authentic, And it's not treating everybody like one database, one system. There are many services out there. You know, one of them I've got, and I get all these alerts. Well, all they did was click a button. That doesn't mean they need me. Mortgage Coach allows me to go in there, have conversations, find out what's going on with people's lives, help them build wealth and help them pay off debt. And ultimately, I hope to leave this plan and have people say, he changed my life. He made an impact. When I was around him, I got extreme value, not, wow, he closed a lot of mortgage loans. Don't look at the numbers. Remember, it's a marathon and not a race. This is just a season. It's not a bad market. It's the current market. There you go.
So much wisdom, guys. Shawn, you epitomize what we're all about here. No borrower left behind under your leadership. Anyone watching this, we hope you got extraordinary value. You got tactical takeaways. You definitely got a lot of quotes and a lot of wisdom. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, give it a like. Like, if you got value, let us know you like it. If you think that there's value in what we shared today, share this with the leaders at your company. Share this with the managers. If you are a branch manager watching this, guys, this is where change happens, at the branch level. You need to make sure your loan officers have the right mindset. You need to make sure they're doing the right things from a marketing perspective. And you need to make sure they're leveraging your company's tech stack. Like if you're a loan officer that is not leveraging your CRM, you don't have a borrower intelligence platform, you don't have a digital presentation, guys, you were just not prepared for the future. So for all of you that are in Zoom, I see some of you giving us some hearts and some likes. Shawn is an emotional guy, so give him a little heart if you got some value. Shawn Kaplan, I can't wait to have you on Zoom again, brother. Can't wait to see you in person.
Thanks, guys. Very, very honored. Thank you for the opportunity.
Take care.
Look at all the hearts you're getting, brother.
I love it. I love it.
Look at that. Go, baby.
Be good.
All right. This is a wrap, everybody. Take care.
See ya.